CM Punk and Roman Reigns have a hostile face-to-face mediated by Paul Heyman ahead of tonight's edition of Survivor Series in the War Games match against the new Bloodline. Speaking of which, Jacob Fatu has defeated Jey Uso. He has the advantage claimed now for the new Bloodline heading into War Games this evening. Matt Riddle makes his TNA wrestling debut last night at Turning Point. Kevin Owens addresses his issues with Cody Rhodes on SmackDown. Bayley officially replaces Jade Cargill in the Women's War Games match at Survivor Series. Michin advances in the Women's United States Championship tournament. An update on the long-rumored announced plans for NXT Europe. Shinsuke Nakamura debuts a new entrance theme on SmackDown. Analysis of the Continental Classic and looking at who are the likely block favourites. Plus, we also have details on the first match set for Ring of Honor Final Battle. Hey guys, welcome back to Wrestling News 365. Hope everyone is doing very well. As always, there are plenty of news stories to get into in the world of professional wrestling. But first, before we get into that, a reminder, you can see it on the right-hand side of the screen right there. Tonight will be the Survivor Series watch-along. We'll be going live at 10:45 UK time. That's 15 minutes or so before Survivor Series War Games goes live on air. So be sure to join us for the watch-along to get reaction to everything that's going on. We will also have a post-show too. But let's begin with CM Punk and Roman Reigns. Last Friday on SmackDown, Paul Heyman revealed that the original Paul Heyman guy, CM Punk, would be the fifth member to assist the original Bloodline at Survivor Series in War Games. Now, Reigns was not thrilled, and Sami Zayn has openly questioned whether the Second City Saint can be trusted. Last night, there was a pre-taped sit-down with Reigns, Punk, and Heyman on SmackDown, where Punk made it clear that he's still a Heyman guy, and he's only doing this for him. Reigns was adamant that he didn't want Punk's help, but Heyman convinced Reigns that he needed him. The wise man reminded Reigns, if we don't accept his help, it's over. He then warned Punk that if he doesn't help them and they demolish Reigns, he'll be next. Punk told Reigns that if they survive War Games, they can revisit this conversation privately and stated that he's all ears. Punk raised his index finger like he was acknowledging Reigns and stated, one time, one favor. Reigns questioned why he would owe Punk a favor, but Punk meant it that was for Heyman, who actually owed him a favor. When Punk left, Reigns asked what the favor was, to which Heyman replied that they needed to get through War Games first. Now, earlier in the summer, the wise man interrupted Punk's promo and warned the former WWE champion that Solo Sikoa would be after him. Heyman then asked Punk to take him with him due to the Hall of Famer's fear of Sikoa and his new faction. The following week, Heyman refused to acknowledge Sikoa and was put through a table, which kept him on the shelf until last week. Speaking of that War Games match at Survivor Series, the new Bloodline does have the advantage. Jacob Fatu dominated main event Jey Uso in his first televised singles bout on SmackDown, earning the new Bloodline the advantage going into the War Games match this evening. SmackDown General Manager Nick Aldis told the members of the new and original Bloodline that they were banned from ringside for the main event, ensuring the bout would be clean and fair. That it was, as both Fatu and Uso fought to the extent of the rules, both in and outside of the ring, but seemingly everything throughout the bout that Uso had to throw at the Samoan Werewolf, he had an answer and then some, with Fatu responded to an attempted tope suicida by catching Uso and throwing him into the announcer's desk. He also threw him into the ring post, and when the match returned to the outside in the closing stretch, he delivered a Samoan drop onto the announcer's desk to set up the finish. Uso looked to have the win against the grain as he delivered a spear and an Uso splash, but only for an early kick out at 2. He couldn't make anything stick to his rival as Fatu later won the bout with his signature moonsault, earning a clean and dominant victory in his singles televised debut. Solo Sikoa and the rest of his outfit appeared on the ramp after the victory, boasting their advantage coming into War Games this evening at Survivor Series to close out the show. Now, switching over to TNA Wrestling, Matt Riddle has made his debut in the organization. Now, there was set to be a 3-on-3 match last night at Turning Point with Trey Miguel and Zachary Wentz of the Rascals teaming up with Kushida to face Matt Hardy, Jeff Hardy, and Ace Austin. However, when travel complications arose and made it not possible for Trey Miguel to appear, the location of the event seems to have proven fruitful. Since TNA Wrestling was holding the show in conjunction with WrestleCade, Miguel's substitute was reportedly already backstage at WrestleCade and was able to fill in after Wentz tied things together, referencing MSK's shared history in WWE NXT with their shaman. It was Matt Riddle who would join their team. Ultimately, Jeff Hardy would pick up the victory on behalf of his team, capturing the pinfall over Kushida. Of course, Matt Riddle was previously released by WWE in September of 2023 and has since appeared in New Japan Pro Wrestling, AAA, and most recently, MLW. Now, going back to SmackDown last night, Kevin Owens, of course, he's on a collision course with Cody Rhodes for the undisputed WWE Championship, and Owens addressed his issues with Rhodes during the SmackDown Before Survivor Series. Owens had turned on Rhodes to kickstart their feud imminently following Bad Blood, and one of the subjects of his promo on SmackDown was Rhodes teaming with Roman Reigns against the New Bloodline. Owens recalled his past torment at the hands of the original Tribal Chief, providing 3 examples. On January 31st, 2021, at the Royal Rumble, during his last man standing Universal title bout, Reigns ran him over with a golf cart, and once again at the Royal Rumble in 2023, he was subjected to a beatdown at the hands of the Usos by order of Reigns. Owens noted that Rhodes was in the building when the third incident happened, and yet the American Nightmare did not come out to save him. That, as well as his teaming with Reigns, was only a few of the ways he could prove he deserves everything that's coming for Rhodes when the two face off at Saturday night's main event, with Owens claiming that he will turn the American Nightmare into the Canadian Dream. Now, Bayley, she'll be competing in War Games this evening. Bayley has officially replaced Jade Cargill, who was taken out by a mystery attacker last week on SmackDown, on the babyface team for the Women's War Games match at Survivor Series today. The role model came out with the babyface team when they made their entrances to kick off SmackDown on Friday. Bayley, Rhea Ripley, Naomi, Bianca Belair, and Io Sky made their way down to the ring to run down the heel team ahead of the match. Ripley noted that not everyone on their team is the best of friends, but none of that mattered because on Saturday, they're all stepping into one of the most dangerous matches in WWE, and nobody is going to be able to stop them from absolutely brutalizing their opponents. The other women got their quips in before Women's World Champion Liv Morgan's music hit, and the heel team came out to the stage, including Raquel Rodriguez, Miss Money in the Bank Tiffany Stratton, Candice LeRae, and WWE Women's Champion Nia Jax. Morgan said it was funny how confident they were, and Jax reminded Belair that Bayley tortured her for years and reminded Bayley that Sky stabbed her in the back. She said the issues between teams had nothing on the issues that the babyface team have with each other, and they'll implode before they make it even to War Games itself. The WWE Women's World Champion noted it was interesting how Cargill got attacked and now Bayley is on the team. Morgan said they were leaving and her team turned to leave before Ripley exclaimed she hated waiting, and the babyfaces ran from the ring to attack their opponents, resulting in a brawl where officials had to separate them all. Now, sticking with the women's division, Michin Mia Yim has advanced in the tournament to crown the inaugural Women's United States Champion. Michin has moved on to the semi-finals of the WWE Women's United States Championship tournament after defeating Lash Legend and Piper Niven on SmackDown. Metaphor's Legend was added to the match after Jade Cargill was taken out by a mystery attacker last week on the show. Chelsea Green was at ringside in support of her tag team partner Niven and got involved in the match and attempted at one point to take Michin out, but B-Fab ran down the ramp and ran Green off. Niven was distracted by Green being taken out and caught a big boot from Legend. Legend hit a chokeslam on Niven, but the former tag team champion kicked out. Legend started arguing with the referee and Michin tried to take her down, but Legend countered with a powerbomb. Niven hit a rolling senton to both women, but Michin broke up the count. Legend got Piper back on her feet for the lash extension to end the match, but Michin broke things up with a senton and pinned Niven to advance in the tournament. Michin will face the winner of next week's triple threat match between Tiffany Stratton, Naomi, and Elektra Lopez in the semi-finals of the tournament. On the other side of the bracket, Green will face Bayley. The final of the Women's United States Championship tournament will take place at Saturday night's main event on December 14th. Now, let's talk about NXT Europe. Remember that? Well, before the launch of WWE's newest developmental program, WWE ID, there was NXT Europe, which aimed to incorporate a broader pipeline for superstars in the United Kingdom and Europe to find their footing in WWE without traveling a great distance from their mainland, similar to NXT UK years prior. While Chief Content Officer Paul Triple H Levesque's vision is to stay the top commercialized promotion globally, it seems the NXT Europe idea remains a backburner proposal since its announcement in 2023 for Fightful Select. The outlet recently published an update on the blueprint of NXT Europe, noting that since former CEO Vince McMahon's departure from the company and WWE and UFC's merger with Endeavor last year, the status of the project remains unmoved. While the intent remains, executing this brand right away seems unlikely. Now, NXT Europe was supposed to be the revitalized rebrand of NXT UK. Its initial outline traces back to 2016, when the first ever United Kingdom Championship tournament was held, won by current superstar Tyler Bate. Once the inaugural roster was announced, NXT UK became part of WWE's weekly flagship lineup in 2018. Sadly, the COVID-19 pandemic hindered the successful heights NXT UK was on the cusp of hitting, officially marking the end at the 2022 Worlds Collide Premium Live event, where the top United Kingdom championships were unified and won by NXT 2.0 superstars like Pretty Deadly, Mandy Rose, and Bron Breakker. The Heritage Cup remains an active championship on NXT, with former NXT UK competitor Charlie Dempsey carrying the cup in his second reign. Former NXT UK stars Pete Dunne, Gunther, Ilya Dragunov, Blair Davenport, Pretty Deadly, Gallus, Isla Dawn, Alba Fire, JD McDonough, Stevie Turner, Noam Dar, Piper Niven, and Bates are just some of the decorated athletes who made the jump from the UK to the main roster and NXT. Now, Shinsuke Nakamura, he's debuted a new entrance theme on SmackDown last night ahead of his match against Andrade. Shinsuke Nakamura debuted a new entrance theme and entrance graphics to accompany his return. Nakamura previously returned on SmackDown and attacked LA Knight to pave the way for a match between the pair booked for Survivor Series this evening. However, last night marked Nakamura's in-ring televised return, where he also continued to have dark red and black face paint around his eyes, as well as updated attire. In the end, Nakamura defeated Andrade in the bout on the road to Survivor Series, with Michael Cole on commentary noting that he wanted to send a message to United States champion LA Knight. Nakamura was also referred to on commentary as an evil, remorseless man. Knight would run out in an attempt to brawl, but Nakamura calmly misted Knight and then left the ring. Now, let's talk about the Continental Classic. Just who is likely to win this tournament and the blocks contained within it. The 2024 Continental Classic got underway this past Wednesday on AEW Dynamite and featured 3 first-round matchups, with Shelton Benjamin defeating Mark Briscoe, Claudio Castagnoli overcoming Ricochet, and Brody King getting the better of Darby Allin. This year's event features a selection of both returning and new competitors, with the winner being crowned the Continental Champion, currently held by Kazuchika Okada at World's End on December 28. In a recent edition of Wrestling Observer Radio, Dave Meltzer announced his predictions for the tournament, beginning with the blue block, and also provided his thoughts on the main event of next month's Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view. Quotes, "From an action standpoint, it may wind up being the best month of the year for AEW televised matches. From TV, I'd sense Chris Jericho versus Mark Briscoe as the Ring of Honor Final Battle main event, but still, I think blue comes down to Okada, Fletcher, and maybe Garcia. If Fletcher doesn't at least finish second or get a victory over Okada, the victory over Ospreay will have not been worth it," Meltzer said. Meltzer continued by assessing the gold block, where he explained that although there's a clear favourite to emerge first, there are several options that could advance to the final 2. Quote, "On the gold block side, Ospreay is the favourite, but if Darby Allin is getting a title match at any point, he should do well," he added. "Aside from Robinson, I could see any of the others being in the final 2 also." And finally, speaking of Ring of Honor Final Battle, the first match has been announced for the upcoming pay-per-view, obviously set to take place at the Hammerstein Ballroom. AEW is set to run 3 straight nights at the Hammerstein Ballroom next month, starting with the 2024 Ring of Honor Final Battle pay-per-view on December 20th. The show will then be followed up by an episode of AEW Collision at the venue on December 21st, and then an AEW Dynamite taping on December 22nd. Now, the first match has been officially announced for the show, with it set to be contested for the Ring of Honor Women's Television Championship. The champion Red Velvet is set to defend her title on the show against legit Layla Hirsch. The show is also set to feature Ring of Honor World Champion Chris Jericho competing in the Hammerstein Ballroom, though his opponent for the show has not yet been officially announced. But there you go, guys, the latest pro wrestling news for you. Be sure to smash a like on the like button. Be sure to subscribe, bottom right hand corner. As always, let me know your thoughts in the comment section below, and I'll speak to you again very, very soon. Hey guys, thank you for watching, listening, streaming, or however you come across this video today. Be sure to click on the video on the right there to watch our next video, or click the bottom there to subscribe, or the bottom right hand corner. Thank you very much, and I'll speak to you again very soon.